future and make it such that it would be very difficult to recover that same ground. Very difficult for Republicans or conservatives ever to have a meaningful voice in the process for decades to come. That concerns me a lot.
Our republic is over. If they pack the court, there is no balance of power. That becomes a legislative branch, and our system of government is over. Is that too much hyperbole, or?
Well, it's maybe a little bit strong, but it's not inaccurate in the sense that for the foreseeable future, that'll become the new normal. See, one of the reasons that worries me with the court, while it's technically not unconstitutional for them to do that, it's just wildly inappropriate and very destructive of the constitutional order. What I mean by that is once they increase the number of seats in the court, you can't take away those seats. You can't take them away. You have to wait till the person dies, retires, or is impeached and removed. That hardly ever happens. And so, as a practical matter, those seats are now permanent. The next time a Republican majority in the House and the Senate and a Republican sits in the White House, there will be overwhelming pressure to do the same. And then you'll have this one-way ratchet effect of everybody just increasing the number of seats on the Supreme Court. And it will become a political body that leads to the diminution of rights. That's a problem.
Sorry to Senator Mike Lee. Mike, the Ben Sass was on yesterday, and he mentioned a constitutional amendment to just hold it, and just set the number at 9 forever. Are you on board for that?
I would hope that we wouldn't need a constitutional amendment to do that, and would not be opposed to the idea of setting that through the Constitution. It's not a bad idea. But in the meantime, obviously, we're not going to get that done if we have a president and a Democratic majority in the House and the Senate bent on not doing that. Because right now, that's what they plan to do. And it's one of the reasons why people need to continue asking Joe Biden what his plans are in that regard. Every time he denies it, we need to take that as a yes. We want to use that as a way to defeat him.
I was talking to somebody who is a big Washington watcher, and they say that the GOP, some in the GOP, are just waiting for Trump to be defeated, and that way they can get back to, regular GOP business. Is the GOP supporting the president and fighting as hard as you think they should be?
Well, the GOP, first of all, is defined not as the leadership of the Republican National Committee or even as Republican senators and Republican congressmen. The GOP consists of Republican voters throughout America, people who actually make the difference, who show up and vote and make those decisions. And my sense is that, yes, the GOP is overwhelmingly in support of this president because they see, regardless of whether they agree with everything he says and what he has done, really has made America a better place in which to live. He really has done what he promised to do as far as draining the swamp. I look forward to him having another 4 years to do that.
I will tell you, Mike, I appreciate your honesty. You and I were on the same page with Donald Trump, and you had to work with him firsthand, and you turned before I did because you were seeing firsthand the things that he was keeping his promises on. And it takes a big person, especially in your role, to say you were wrong about him and you're supporting him now.
Yeah, look, 4 years ago, and I didn't trust him. I didn't believe that he meant the things he was saying. And it's easy when you don't know someone to criticize them, to attack them, and not to trust them. And frankly, this business, the business of politics, there are good reasons not to trust someone before you know them. I've gotten to know him, and he's a man of his word. He says what he means, and he does what he tells you he's going to do. In this business, that's refreshing. It's meant the world to me, and I love the guy. I don't agree with everything he does, but I like him. I genuinely trust what he says he is going to do because he's proven again and again and again his willingness to do so even against great adversity. He's also proven his understanding of the fact that oftentimes this is more than just Democrat versus Republican. This is Washington, D.C. versus everyone else. It's been a long time since we've had an advocate like that in the White House.
That sounds like the COVID talk
too. I strangely am like just in love with. He did a little dance, and I think that drove people nuts. I actually thought it was hysterical. I love.